You aren't broken, and God didn't break you to leave you that way. If you feel broken, God is breaking you to rebuild you. I remember feeling like I was broken beyond repair, thinking that my life was so damaged from all of my life experiences and everything that I've ever been through. I used to think that no one could be a part of my life because either they were going to realize that I was broken or I was going to end up breaking them. And I didn't really know how to develop a relationship with God. So I went through life day in and day out thinking that I was broken beyond repair. I remember thinking that people could see the brokenness on me. I would be afraid to walk out in public or go public places and be around other people who I felt were whole because I knew that deep down inside I felt like there was something wrong with me. And if you've been in those seasons where you feel like people can see the brokenness, they can see the hurt, they can see the pain, they can see the trauma, I want you to know that everyone experiences their own life experiences, their own problems and everything. And don't think of it as a spotlight being on you, because if anything, God's glory is shining down on you, and God can repair even the most brokenest people. And as I went through life, I realized that I didn't have to hide myself. I didn't have to feel fear of being broken or being imperfect. I thought that I had to put on this facade at one point, like, even though I have experienced certain things, you don't need to know that about my life because that's too touchy, that's too deep, it's too much to bear. But it got to a point where the only way I felt comfortable in my skin was to let people know that I wasn't perfect, to let people know that I had flaws, to let people know that I experienced things in my life and I'm still working my way through it. And I never knew why throughout my life God would call me to speak, sharing parts of my story and just crying because I could not get over the fact of how it felt. And even though I would feel it on the inside, when I would speak it, people could often feel how I felt on the outside about what I was experiencing, and not even knowing that I probably was going through something hard in my life, because I put on a smile and I acted like everything was okay and I acted as if I had it figured out. I went through life just settling for anything and having certain life experiences because I didn't know the value of self-love. I didn't know the value of having a relationship with God, because God is love. And so I used to just think that my situation was broken beyond repair. I thought that there was no way anyone could fix me. I can't take this situation seriously because I'm broken. I can't be in this relationship long term because I'm broken. I can't do anything that's worth any while because I was broken. And I just remember having an experience with God and telling him, like, I'm going through life and I feel like I'm doing it alone. I feel like I'm lost. I feel like I don't even know how to make a step forward or even move my feet, because what do you do when you're broken? But I realized God often uses breaking as a way to rebuild us. He uses these life experiences to teach us through our pain, through our struggles, through those hardships, lessons that we couldn't have learned in any other way. Some of the lessons that we have to learn have to come through those hard, real tough situations in order for us to learn. And so when God started to reveal to me that I wasn't broken beyond repair, I wasn't actually broken and that was just how he was going to leave me, he was actually rebuilding me piece by piece by piece. God allowed the breaking to show me the different voids that I was trying to fill, whether it be with friends, relationships, certain habits, or being in my comfort zone. He removed that from breaking me. He would often break me in certain relationships because I relied on those relationships so much, to the point where I never had that personal relationship with God. I never came to God when I was overwhelmed or upset or confused. I came to those relationships, those people. I came to the comfort zone and what was comfortable to me. And so God broke me in many different areas of my life, in many seasons, to show me that he was the one true person that was there for me, the one true person that was going to fix my problems and make me whole again. You can't think that a man or a person or a relationship is going to mend you back whole. If you're broken, if you're not whole already, the only person that can make you whole and that can fill those voids is actually God himself. And God showed me through breaking me where my strength actually lied. Certain areas of my life I was very weak in. I had a weak mindset at one point. I had negative self-talk all the time. The way that I just carried myself wasn't of someone who was mentally strong. But God showed me in other ways in which I was strong, and he helped me perfect that and actually make it even better. In the areas that I was weak in, he actually repaired those areas as well. So breaking me actually revealed the areas that I needed to fix in my life in order to progress and go where God was trying to bring me in the first place. So I went through seasons of feeling broken. Up until a few years ago, I initially didn't know I was broken. I would compare myself to other people and see like those people look like something. Like I didn't know what it was, but it was something that I desired to have. And then as I got older, I started to realize that there is traumas and things like that, and life experiences and certain upbringings that can make you as a child feel certain ways. And so once I realized that I was developing certain characteristics and certain coping mechanisms, I really realized that I was trying to fill these voids. And through my younger adulthood, I was just really navigating life by filling voids. I never really dealt with the problems. I never really dealt with the issues. I never really dealt with what was bothering me. I tried to cover it up, and I tried to fill voids with people and situations and things because I thought that it was numbing the pain. And it came to a point where I was starting to build my relationship with God, and I started to identify certain things like there is a such thing as depression. There is a such thing as a toxic relationship. There is a such thing as your environment bringing out certain ways or certain things about you. And I had to change my environment a lot. And as I was changing my environment, I was really realizing that where I was very true to who I was at the time. So it didn't necessarily feel uncomfortable until it felt uncomfortable. It was pretty much making me feel comfortable with my lifestyle. That's when I knew I needed to change. Like there is a such thing as being inspired, right? So if there's places that you can go and you can be inspired, then there's also places that you can go that can make you feel uninspired and that can make you feel very low at times. And in certain environments that I was in, unknowingly, I was just looking around uninspired. I was looking around thinking that this was going to be my life and thinking that, what I was seeing was where I was supposed to be or what I was supposed to be experiencing. God had to reveal a lot of that through my breaking seasons, and he had to show me that even though he was positioning me in these places, it was for me to realize something about myself to then eventually grow into the person that he called me to be. And usually while God was breaking me and allowing these situations to happen, I started feeling uncomfortable. I felt uneasy. I started to think that I needed to change. I needed something different. And all glory to God that he was able to take me out of those situations and remove me. Now, the breaking was not fun. It's never fun. It never feels good. It's never anything that you can pretty much feel like you can deal with on your own. The real breaking, that breaking that I'm talking about that changes your life, is something where you really have no choice but to run to God, because nothing anyone says, anything anyone does, nothing that you even do can give you peace or comfort in those situations. It's a constant feeling. It's a constant reminder that there is something that God needs from you. He needs you to come to him. He's calling you and he's needing you to rely on him. And so the more that I came to God, the more he was able to move in my life. The more that I gave him my problems and gave him my situations and told him about my life. And he knew all of these things already, but he needed me to come to him. And so if you're someone who's in a season where you feel like your life is falling apart, I want you to know that your life is not falling apart. It's actually falling into place. And the more that you allow God to shift you and guide you and direct you. Your life experiences are guiding you already. The environments that you're in is actually guiding you already. There's certain shifts that God wants to make in your life already, but you just are not becoming aware to them. And the biggest thing, one of the biggest mistakes that I made over the years was trying to cover up my mess and just act like it wasn't there. You can't do that if you want God to bless your situation and bless your life. You have to reveal all of that, uncover all of that mess, and allow God to really fix those areas of your life. Like filling voids with people, filling voids with relationships, and anything you can think of to numb a pain is never going to deal with the root problem. It's never going to put you in a place where you're really identifying the things that you have to fix in order for God to put you and place you where he needs you to be. I can't believe I am where I am today. There's no way you could have told me that broken girl, the young girl who was just running through life with no real direction, no real idea of what she wanted to do, who she wanted to be. There was no way that you can tell me that girl is who I am today. And if I could say anything to that version of myself back then, it would be to really look at your life, look at your experiences, look at how you're living your life right now, and ask yourself, do you want to live the rest of your life like how you're living it right now? Do you want to be in these situations, these relationships, these environments? Do you want to feel less than yourself and continue not to love yourself? Do you really want to feel that way? Like, I would really ask myself back then, do you even know how you feel? Can you even put it into words? Have you even sat down long enough to think about it? Or do you continue to run around trying to fill voids and cover up all of your mess because it makes you feel comfortable? So my question is to you, have you ever sat down and asked yourself how you feel? Have you ever sat down and asked yourself, are you okay? Because if you sat down long enough and if you turned down the noise and you got alone long enough to really think about how you feel, you'd probably want to change something about your life right now. And I say that with chills because it's a real thing, and it's really something more people need to sit down and do often and really take inventory of their life and ask, do you want to live the rest of your life like this? And if not, then the breaking will happen, and God is going to use the breaking to repair you. And if you feel broken already, you're not broken beyond repair. God is going to break you to rebuild you. And there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing that anyone can see on you, or, a person's not going to look at you and be like, oh my gosh, she's broken. You can't talk to her. You can't look at her. You can't even be around her because she's broken. Like, no, I used to isolate myself again because I was afraid that people could see the brokenness on me. But God gets all the glory now. Even the same people who knew I was broken before have told me in modern day, like, God has done so much in your life, and I'm so happy to see you doing so much better. Like, you don't have to be embarrassed by it. Everyone has their own situations and things that they're going to deal with through this lifetime. So allow God to break you, to rebuild you, and I promise you, you'll be happy that you did.